What up, guys? Jacob Pimple from SOJA, and I'm here hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live Entertainment.
When you guys were, first starting out and trying to go out on tour and going to different states or countries or and such, how are you guys able to do, get all that funded with so many members in the band?
It's people always ask me, they're like, how does the structure work in SOJA? And the the thing about SOJA that we were lucky is that we started young. And so since we started when we were like 13, 14 years old, by the time we were 19, 20, we were all ready to go. And people weren't asking for money, and people weren't asking for time off, and people weren't, comparing this job to other music jobs that they had. We were all 100% down from day one. And yeah, there was no money at the start. I mean, we all had other jobs for years, and that's how it was. But we loved the music, and on weekends we'd go tour, and the tours got further and further and further until we were forced to stay on the road and forced to quit our jobs. And that's when we started trying to make it happen, and the timing was right, and then it moved in the right direction.
Now, what's the best thing as an artist of being on tour? What do you like most?
For us, it's the people. The money and the fame gets kind of, I don't know, people get kind of sick of it. Musicians do. And you see them on stage and they kind of fake a smile and fake a dance move, but it's kind of like a repetition that they go through every night. It becomes not like an act, but kind of like an act.
Yeah.
But for us, the interaction with the fans has been so great. I think that kind of music that we play helps people. And so when we see people in the audience with tears in their eyes, or people in the audience holding up a kid in a wheelchair, people, like these kind of things, like we kind of, I personally, I fuel off that kind of stuff, and I'd say that's the best part about touring, is interacting with the fans.
Okay, and you guys just released your first single from the new record, I believe.
Yeah.
Tell me about this single. I mean, what's it like in the studio with you guys? Is it too many chefs in the kitchen with the whole band, or do you guys collaborate? Simple.
We have. It's taken us years and years to figure out our writing process, but how it works now is, I write the song, I write the words and the lyrics and the melody, and the chords, and I get it to where I like it. And then I go to SOJA and I play the song. Normally, like, there's an email that goes out, and then we all show up to a practice and we all have our own ideas, and we kind of mush them all together, and then we see what works best. And then recently we've been then going to a producer to kind of get a third person perspective on something that each one of us sees. I see the vocals as my baby, and the bass player sees the bass line as his baby, and you got to get a third person perspective. Sometimes somebody's not so invested to say, I love the direction, but like, check this out. And so that's where we're at now. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned recently, so is that something that you guys really didn't consider much before, like going to a producer?
A lot of the first records were just us without the producer, and that's where you get the kind of more everybody doing their own thing kind of sound, versus it sounding like we all kind of collectively wrote this one thing.
Okay.
So it's sort of new for us, but it's something we've always wanted to do. It's like when you listen to old Bob Marley records, and then you listen to the records with Chris Blackwell and Alex Sadkin and Island Records, and you start to get kind of that new Wailers sound. And the goal of SOJA has always been to take reggae, and more importantly than the music, the message, and make it mainstream. And I think working with producers is definitely part of that, so that people who aren't necessarily reggae fans can hear a reggae song and connect with it.
Okay. And back to the song, I believe. Why did you choose that song as the lead track for this new album?
We thought it had the most kind of universal appeal, and we have a lot of very like heavy reggae songs on the record. And we also thought it would be kind of funny to lead with the one that was kind of like the most pop oriented, because you see a lot of people lashing out at reggae when it makes it past a certain level. But the goal of anyone who has a message that they want to take to the world is to take it to the world. and that's always been our goal. And we thought, I believe, had a very good chance of everyday people hearing the song and saying, wait a minute, this is for me, I relate to this. And the whole message of the song is that you have the power to control your destiny. And you've been taught that life is about accumulation and competition, but the truth is that life, and Mauricio, I hope you're listening, the truth is that life is about compassion and love and helping people out and enjoying yourself. We normally spend age 1 to age 8 compassionate and full of love and helping others and enjoying ourselves. And then 8 to 55 or 60 is just competition and accumulation. And then 60 on, it's back to, you know, love and compassion and helping people.
That's crazy to break it down like that.
You know, so I'm trying to get those 8-year-olds to 60-year-olds to feel that vibe that they were feeling 1 to 8, you know, because life really could be that simple, in my opinion.
Now, when you're writing, you know, this music, I mean, do you ever run into, do you ever lose ideas, or I mean, do you always have like more positivity to bring into the world, and how do you come up with that?
I got, you know, thousands of songs just sitting in voice memos and sitting on, and they're kind of like, they start as thoughts, and then the goal for me is to try to get them to progress into ideas. Okay. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just stay thoughts, and they're thoughts that still exist. And then one day down the road, I'll hear it, and I'll go, oh yeah, I had the thing with the thing, and now I've got the inspiration to turn the idea or the thought into an idea.
Okay. And I know Bob Marley is obviously one of your inspirations, and you just, a couple days ago, you just released a song with his son, Damian Marley, your song. So what does that mean to you to be able to work with someone so close to someone that you know, idolize?
You know, Bob Marley had such an effect on the world that I think 50% of the musicians that you work with probably had this really close connection to Bob Marley. What Damian's done is he's struck out on his own and created his entirely own music. And yeah, like the stuff he does is, I mean, that guy sells a lot of records, you know, and a lot of people know the lyrics to his songs. And maybe in the beginning it's the Marley thing that brings him in, but he's Damian Marley. He's Junior Gong, you know. He's not really Bob's son. So it was a pleasure to work with Damian Marley for sure. He's a great musician.
And coming into the album, I remember seeing, well, on iTunes it's still up on there, that, you know, the release was initially like the 22nd of July or something. Sure. Now it's bumped up to August 12th. Is that reason for that because of the tour that's going on right now, or? No,
it's because we're crazy and we look at every single detail, and we, even simple stuff, we have like 10 or 15 back and forths, you know, the first 5 of me and the manager and the artist or the writer or the videographer or the director or whoever this person is. And then once me and Elliot have it to where we kind of like it, then it gets given to everyone in the band, including the horn players, including the new guitar player. And we go around and around and around, and it takes us probably twice as long as it takes less crazy people to do this stuff. But we see each one of these things as something that can't be reversed. Yeah. We're never going to get a chance to do this record amid the noise and haste again. This is our one chance to do this record. So yeah, we're the kings of pushing stuff back, man. We push it back. We've already pushed it back like 4 times. Yeah. I think we were aiming for May, you know, and then June, and then July, and then August. But I think we're promising that August is definitely going to be it this time. Okay. Yeah.
So as of today, where do we stand with the record? Like, what's the progress as far as?
Record's done, cover's done. One of the videos is done. Another video's coming real soon. 3rd video's coming right after that. And tour with Michael Franti has started. Brett Dennen and Trevor Hall. European tours lined up. South American tour is getting announced soon. Hawaii tour was just announced. So we've got all the pins lined up, and it's time to go knock them down.
Yeah, and I hear you guys are going to Dublin for the first time.
Yeah, dude, I get to go to Ireland, and so many of us are so much Irish that I can't imagine that. Yeah, I'm going to stay for like a week. It's the last show of the tour. Nice. So I have nothing to do afterwards, and I think I'm just going to stay and just, you know, get a room and see what's going on.
Yeah. Now, why do you think it took so long to actually, you know, reach out to that audience?
I don't know. Ireland's got a lot of their own good bands. They got a lot of their own good food. They got a lot of their own good beer. They got really nice golf courses. I think similar to Jamaica, you know, they don't import a lot of music, or maybe reggae music. But we feel lucky to be one of those groups that gets to play Ireland, because it doesn't happen to a lot of groups.
Exactly.
You know,
I don't think I've ever.
we've played. I mean, we'll play Poland, you know, twice in a year, but we don't play Ireland. So we're excited, man. We're excited, very excited.
Now, you were mentioning earlier that, you know, how people just talk bad about reggae every once in a while, but I mean, like, where do you see that reggae is the strongest, you know, in the world right now?
Well, reggae is mainstream in South America, in the Polynesian Islands, in the Caribbean islands, and in parts of Europe. In the United States, reggae is kind of seen as like vacation music.
Yeah.
But a lot of places where their political system is undergoing change, or their social class system is undergoing change, reggae is the music of change. It's the music of revolution. It's the music of, hey, this is really messed up, but you know what? We can fix it if we work together. Yeah. And I think North America is headed to a place where reggae is getting more and more popular, because we see the way that we're handling the Middle East. We see the way that we're handling our economic crisis. We see the way we're handling the environmental crisis that's going on. You know, you have half the country putting their head in the sand and saying that climate change isn't real. We're breaking heat indexes every year. We break, you know, 2,000, 3,000. Last year, 3,500 times across the country. It was the hottest day ever on record in that town. And we're seeing, you know, like in Richmond, close to where I live, there's a church out on the water. And those people can't go to church anymore because there's feet of water inside the church, you know. And then the governor comes and tells you that climate change isn't real. We see that they're letting homosexuals get married now, which is crazy to me that it took this long, you know. But a lot of the country still thinks that that's a terrible idea, and that a 2,000-year-old book is going to send all these people to hell, and they're going to live the rest of their life with a red man with horns on his head and a big pitchfork and stuff. And it's a polarized country, and with extreme polarization, that's change right there. And I think now is the time in North America where the next generation, guys like you, are going to take reggae really seriously, because they're going to hear it speaking for them. Yeah. Music's in a form of excess, and that always happens. Everything's cyclical. So rock music starts and it gets good, and then it gets better, and then all these like record label guys realize how much money they can make off of it, and then you end up with Warrant Cherry Pie, and the guy's got the wig on and the makeup and the heels, and he's in the stretch Lamborghini with the pool in the back. Yeah. And then Nirvana shows up. It's like the emperor wears no clothes. You know, some kid walks up and says, "You're naked." And the whole town goes, "Oh, dude, he is naked." And then it all falls apart. And then the same thing's happening now in hip-hop. You know, it started in the streets. It started as a beautiful thing. Yeah. It was folk music. It was a way for people who didn't have a soapbox to tell their story and to pass along an oral tradition. Once again, all these guys realize how much money they can make off of it. Everybody pushes little T or little B or little whoever. And then the music, once again, is stretch Lamborghinis with pools in the back, and how much money can you make? I read one of my favorite artists ever's biography, and I really look up to this guy, and I read in the book that his goal was to make $1 billion. That was his life's goal. And I couldn't believe it. But
completely opposite to the lyrics.
I was like, damn, man, what happened to all those records? And they were always about making money, but they were about a lot of stuff. Yeah. And it just reminds me that everything is cyclical, you know, and the hairband gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the balloon pops, and then, you know, Kendrick Lamar and Macklemore put out those 2 records, and you go, oh shit, hip-hop's back, you know. Yeah. And I think it's important for all these kids who listen to really super garbage music. When I was a kid, it was Warrant, and now it's, you know, hip-hop in general. Well, not currently, but a few years ago, every single record was worthless. Well, unless you have rooms full of diamonds and naked women and helicopters, then I guess you can relate very well to this stuff. But, you know, for for humans as a whole, we didn't know what any of these people were talking about. So I think it's important for music like ours to be on the mainstream, you know, to be represented. And people hate on us sometimes for trying to get into the mainstream, but to me, man, this message is so much more important than like a musical style or like a trend or like what you like to smoke weed to or something. I don't really care about that. I care about changing the world. If I can leave this world a better place for having me in it, mission accomplished. And if I leave this world a worse place for having me in it, vice versa, dude, fail. Yeah. So I'm just trying to win that mission.
Okay, and it's funny that you mentioned him earlier, as far as like reaching out to younger kids or spreading the message. But see, it's funny because right now, I'm sure you've heard of this new band, Magic, for example, Magic. And you know, they're on the radio all the time, and he's always singing, you know, their music. Sure. And I notice a lot of kids are starting to sing that music, and I guess it's like opening the doors for to reggae for kids that, you know, haven't really.
Man, you can call it pop reggae if you want. That's fine with me. It doesn't matter. Like whatever people call it is fine. That's, as long as they hear the words and they understand the meaning behind what I'm trying to say, then it worked, you know. And it's okay with me. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion, and everybody's allowed to listen to whatever music they want. I just want my music to be heard by the most people possible. I believe in this stuff, you know, I really do. At the end of the day, man, I think it's working, you know. I listen to these bands. I listen to Michael Franti. I guess you could say compared to his old stuff that his new stuff's more poppy. And I think you're probably right. And I think he probably did that on purpose because he probably believes in what he's talking about, and he wants a lot of people to hear and understand what he means. It's a very attractive idea to me. I've been doing it forever, you know, like all of our big songs always have the most pretty packaging because I see them as being the most important ones, you know. So it's like, yo, we got to make this one really beautiful because this song, I Don't Want to Wait, is people got to hear this, or this song, Strength to Survive, people got to hear this, or this song, Everything Changes, people got to hear this, you know. What do I really need in this life? I look at myself sometimes and it's not right. There's people out there with no food at night, and we say we care, but we don't, so we all lie. I want people to repeat those words to themselves, and kids his age to repeat those words to themselves and think about what they could possibly mean. And if we got to do a hip-hop remix to put that thing out, to compete, we're doing a hip-hop remix. I'll do 5 hip-hop remixes, whatever it takes.
That I would not mind at all.
Yeah, it's cool with me. It doesn't, see, whatever people like to hear is what I'm trying to make. We'll always be a reggae band, but there's always going to be attempts by us to get this message out. Guaranteed we're going for a hit single, for sure. That kind of music should be on the radio too. It shouldn't just be diamonds and women. It should also be like, hey, what if there's more to life than diamonds and women?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think the whole industry, you know, needs to look at everything all over again and see, you know, what's important here.
It keeps happening. We're trying to be on the front of the wave that clears out all the cobwebs and all this unnecessary crap that nobody cares about.
Yeah. Moving forward, tomorrow tour starts. This tour is, I mean, it's the first time I've seen something like this one. It has yoga and what else going on into it. Tell us a little bit about the tour and, you know.
Lifestyle tours are really popular right now. People realize that, you know, you can sell tickets to one show, or you can bring in 4 bands and you can sell tickets to that. Oh, a lot of people are into that because they're kind of getting a deal. Okay, what if we did overnight camping and then we did the same thing the next day? Instead of 4 bands, we did 8 bands. People are really into that. And people start going down this path of, you know, the 3-day festival, the 4-day festival. Well, what if we built a town? Well, what if we had clean water setups? Well, what if we used recycling to sell tickets? What if we had but it's dangerous because it's kind of like the Whole Foods philosophy a little bit, like pay double for this chocolate bar and we'll give 1 cent to poor people. And it's like, well, the chocolate bar was $1, you're charging 2. Why are you only giving 1 cent? But people like things being built in to their packaging. I'm eating this chocolate bar, I probably shouldn't be eating it, but they're giving to someone, right? And that's kind of caught on in festivals, like they call them lifestyle festivals. But a lot of times it's total BS, you know? They're advertising this big flashy lifestyle thing, but you get there and there's like piles of trash and like water bottles everywhere and like hamburgers in styrofoam containers.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself as an artist, like, did I just lend my name to something that's BS?
Not really there.
So you've got Michael Franti doing the real deal lifestyle festival. What he's portraying is who he really is. I just shot a video with him, and I said, you know, what's good about yoga? And he said, everything. And I said, what's bad about yoga? He said, nothing. I said, so did it improve your life? He said, yeah, I was about 34 when I started. How old are you? I said, 34. He was like, all right, dude, you want to learn? And I was like, all right, Michael Franti's offering to teach me yoga personally. I can't say no to this. So what's the deal? Okay, he said, I wake up, you know, at this time. I start yoga at 12. I do it till 1:30. Then I go work on my, you know, whether it's my green projects or whether I go running or and then I go play music behind the public yoga, which starts at maybe 3 or 4 p.m. And all 10,000 people are allowed to come to that. There will be a yogi there from that town, or maybe somebody brings with him. Mm-hmm. He plays music behind the whole thing.
Nice.
And then after that's over, I think the guy watches the bands. Most people kind of go to their hotel. This guy is like there at the festival. Mm-hmm. I think he might be getting up and performing with us, which is crazy to think that somebody's performing with the band that's going on before him. And then he plays all night, and then he wakes up and does it again. And I'm looking at this guy like, all right, dude, you are the lifestyle festival. So we're excited to be on this thing. It seems real, you know. It has that feeling of reality, and I'm jumping in with 2 feet and head first, dude. I'm gonna learn how to do this yoga deal, dude. I'm excited.
Yeah. Next time I sit down with you, I'll ask you about the experience.
Next time you sit down with me, I'll probably be sitting in some really cool posture, and my spine will be like very straight.
Let's do that.
That's what I'm hoping for.